Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I am super excited to have with me today none other than the infamous Trent Turner from Cross Country Mortgage. He is one of my preferred lenders. He is incredible, guys. And if you're looking for a wealth of knowledge concerning the market and how things are going, this guy is super smart. That's one of the reasons I love having conversations with him. So today we're just going to have a conversation just talking about what's going on in the market. And later on, we're going to actually talk a little bit even about one of the things that projects we're working on and construction to perm loans and all of that stuff. So let's talk a little bit first about, oh, by the way, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Natasha Ewing Johnson with Natasha J Realty and eXp Realty. And I'm super excited to be your host today and be sharing some valuable information about the market, what's going on in the market, and what we can do to help you if you are wanting to leverage property and real estate as part of your wealth building strategy. And listen, this is still the time to do it. So Trent, you and I were just having a conversation about where the market is. And a lot of people, I actually had a client say, hey, I look at the market, home prices are going down. Is that really real, or is that an artificial, what people are maybe not looking at the right numbers? Talk to me a little bit about what the experts are saying. And I see you as an expert as well, what you're seeing going on in the market and what buyers and sellers should be doing right now.
Thanks, Natasha. Trent Turner, NMLS 2078583. I'm so happy to be here. That's an excellent question. So real estate, as we all know, is a local business. It's what's happening around you. So we're in Georgia, and you and I work a lot throughout the Southeast. In general, Metro Atlanta, Savannah, other larger markets in Georgia, home prices are continuing to appreciate. So the projected appreciation right now from different sources, 4 to 6% on an annualized basis. And that goes against the traditional wisdom of when interest rates go higher, typically home prices go lower. But what we're seeing, what we think is happening and what others believe is happening, we are 5 to 6 million homes short in the United States. And we're only building on average 1.8 million homes per year. So that shortage is true supply and demand fundamentals. You have a lowered supply, and still, even with higher interest rate, high demand. Households are still being formed. Folks want to live on their own, and we're not meeting those housing needs. So in general, the situation is prices are going up. There's just not enough. We don't think that the housing market is going to cool off anytime soon. We don't have enough inventory.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that as well. I mean, inventory shortages are real. So what do you recommend to someone that's looking to transition? Maybe you are not in love with the property you're living in right now, and you're like, you know what? I need something new. I need to make a shift. I need to make a change. As a lender, what do you recommend? How do you recommend that they handle that transition? Because I've got lots of sellers and buyers kind of sitting on the fence like, look, I want to buy something new, but these high interest rates, I've got a 3.5% right now. I refinance when those interest rates drop from my 5% to my 3.5%. It doesn't make sense for me to move right now, but I've got like $200,000 worth of equity in my home, which is the average across the United States right now. What do you recommend that they do here, and how can they offset that and still move into something that they love?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, Natasha. So an interest rate is not just a market interest rate, it's your interest rate, and interest rates in general are negotiable. So meaning if you have a home and you have a low interest rate you bought a couple years ago, you're 3.5%, 3%, and you feel stuck. You don't like the school district that you're in, life has changed, you need more room. Essentially, we tell folks they can do a couple of different things. So you can, of course, sell it, realize that equity on your home, put a larger down payment on another home, buy down the interest rate to get closer to where you were originally, because no matter what, if you're not happy somewhere, you got to make a lifestyle change, and we can help you work through that. The other thing you can do is potentially market your home for lease and take the profits over. We all know where rents are right now. Rents are through the roof. So if you've got a lower mortgage, you can take the profit on that lease amount, and we can work with you to purchase another home, and essentially the profit on that rental will be offsetting that higher interest rate on the new home, but then you still have someone paying off an appreciating asset in today's environment, which is really a wealth building strategy. And lastly,
you can write it off. You can write off that rental, right? Because that's what I've done, is that I'm writing off that rental,
the interest,
on my
the real estate taxes,
interest, real estate taxes, because it's now becoming
depreciation.
Oh my gosh,
There's so many things.
Yeah, I've got so many write-offs. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many things that work for you. And lastly, another thing we can do is we can look at, if you have the space in your lot, we can look at doing a refinance and financing an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. That's things we can do. And you can even refinance that, have two renters on one lot. There's just so many things that's available to you, and we would love to help you with. But you got to start with getting a really competent real estate expert, someone like Natasha. Get with a lender that has a reputable reputation, and we get to start working. Every situation is different. Every individual is different. But I'm confident that we can come up with a game plan for you to meet your needs. And right now, I would say, again, I think now is a really good time to buy, because when interest rates come down and you have all these other people jump back in the market, now you're in bidding wars. That will likely push pricing up even higher, because we can't catch up. We're not going to build 5 to 6 million homes in 1 year. That's very unlikely.
So, Trent, because listen, even now with high interest rates, I am still seeing bidding wars. I mean, I just put an offer on a property, had 10 offers on that property, including investor offers. And I work with lots of investors as well that making cash purchases. And the unique dynamic that's going on right now, let's just talk about the metro Atlanta market right now. I know, like in 2026, the World Cup is coming here. I'm seeing a lot more foreign entities transitioning here. The port of Savannah has opened up. So even on the south side of Atlanta, where is my primary market, I'm seeing a lot more companies transition here. I'm working with a company right now that's transitioning their headquarters here to South Atlanta. So I'm seeing a lot of a rise in activity, and those median prices are starting to still take up in a direction. And a lot of people are sitting on the fence saying, hey, I'll wait till interest rates drop. But when those interest rates drop, the floodgates are going to be open. So everyone that's been sitting on the fence waiting for those drop in interest rates are going to come dashing into the market. So whereas now with high interest rates, I've got 10 offers on a property. With the lower interest rates, when we see interest rate, you're going to have 20, 35, all kinds of offers out there. So you want to get in the market ahead of the rush, so that you'll be able to take advantage of the fact that you'll have a better chance of getting into your desired property, not having to compromise, not having to overpay excessively for a property on top of a high interest rate. So let's talk a little bit about that. And how are you coaching people through that to help them? Hey, listen, this is still the time now to be able to get into this market.
Well, that was a drop mic moment just now, so I'm going to drop the mic for you. Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, you have all of these basically international dynamics happening in Georgia. The port of Savannah is impacting not only Savannah, but Atlanta, because it's so close. The whole Macon, Warner Robins corridor. Then you've got Atlanta, and then when you factor in the World Cup coming in, and then this is just a very pro-business environment where you've got companies from Canada, other parts of the United States relocating here. And then we do a lot of work with foreign national and investors. So the average consumer is battling against all of that right now. So then you add in much more consumers coming to buy. We tell folks, look, the strategy now, try to get in now. Likely there'll be more buyers in the pool later. Inventory will still be restricted. When rates come down, we can refinance you, and you'll likely get the benefit of that appreciation along the way. So I just couldn't express it enough. Like, even though rates are higher, now is a great time to buy. And again, every situation is different. You know, your situation, it may not be, you may not know where you want to be, but at least start those conversations so you can do a benefit analysis on, buying a home. But it's a really good way to create wealth, and now's a good time to get in.
And I stress to people, it's important to talk to an expert. You want to know where people are getting their information from. A lot of people make assumptions based on what their limited knowledge is or what they are seeing. I remember a seller saying, hey, I just sold my house to an investor, and I looked on the they didn't have access to the MLS. They looked online, basically a Google search, to see that homes were selling in that area for a particular price. Well, not understanding that, assessing the fact that that same investor was buying up properties way below market value, right? So having a professional work with you to help you navigate this very complicated space is truly, truly important. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that Trent brings to the table and his entire team. Listen, he works with a team of experts that sells millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate every single year in both the residential and commercial space. Listen, this guy is incredible, and I'm so excited to be partnering with him. So let's talk about building new. One of the projects you and I are working on, I've got a few estate homes that we'll be bringing on the market here relatively in the next year or so. And one of the products that we'll be leveraging is called a construction-to-perm loan. So what is a construction-to-perm loan, and how does that work if someone wants to say, they're like, look, I just wanted a change. I want to build a house, my dream house, the way I want it. How does that construction-to-perm work, perm loan work?
So essentially, it's in the name, you're doing a construction loan that at some point upon the completion of the home will trigger into a permanent loan. So there's one closing. So let's say you already own the land, you have the lot. In that event, we can use the land as equity to your portion and essentially finance the cost to build the home. Now, a couple of things throughout the process we're going to need. You're going to have to be dealing with a reputable contractor. We'll need their information, their insurance, their licensing. Those things, we'll review that. And essentially, we'll finance the process for you. You don't have to go and buy a tract home from one of the nation's largest builder. You can buy a lot, and you don't have to own the land either. We can roll the land in the construction into the deal. There's so many options available, but the benefit of the construction-to-perm is you kind of lock in an interest rate at the completion of the loan. And then there are even options where, if rates go down later when the loan is done, we will lock you at that lower rate upon completion of construction. So there are a lot of benefits, and a lot of folks are utilizing that right now, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because with the inventory shortage, you may not want a box build home, or you may not find a home that on the market that you truly desire. So there are options available to you, and we want you to leverage those options. With that said, listen, in this video below, you will have our contact information. Please feel free to reach out to us. You can text us, you can email us. We would love to work with you to help you navigate the very complicated complicated space of real estate and purchasing real estate, whether it's residential. And I know Trent deals sometimes in commercial. So with that said, thank you so much. And we are here to serve.
Thank you.